Good morning. It's 7 a.m. in Denver, Colorado, USA, and the sun has just risen here.
And in New Delhi, it is 6:30 p.m.
And here in Beijing, it is 9 p.m. and the day is coming to a close. Hello, I am Yihan Hao.
Good evening, I am Vindhya Tripathi.
And I am Caroline Winslow, and it's our pleasure to serve as your host for the Global Cooling Prize's Grand Award Ceremony.
We're so very excited to have you all join us from around the world for this special broadcast. We're here to celebrate the culmination of the Global Cooling Prize. We set out 2.5 years ago with an audacious goal to tackle one of the biggest end-use threats to our climate, residential cooling, and set the world on a path to meeting the targets set forth by the Paris Climate Agreement to limit global temperature rise to under 1.5 degrees Celsius. The efforts that have gone into bringing this vision to life are nothing short of astounding, with governments, leading think tanks, innovators, and industry coordinating and collaborating for the greater good, and much of that during a global pandemic.
What today is really about is the celebration of technological breakthroughs that startups, innovators, industry, and corporations from around the world have developed. The revolutionary prototypes that our prize finalists were able to build amidst the pandemic have shattered the ceiling of performance and shown the world what is truly possible when we work together to solve our collective problems.
It truly has been an eye-opening, inspiring, and exciting ride for all of us. And today, we intend to share the incredible journey of our finalists, coalition members, and supporters of the Global Cooling Prize, so that all of you can be inspired and hopeful too.
Absolutely. To many of us, the climate crisis oftentimes can be perceived as daunting and overwhelming. The scale of the challenge is so massive that we don't even know where to begin. However, through the Global Cooling Prize, we have experienced firsthand the astonishing progress that can be made when we think differently and we work collaboratively. The prize process has shown us an attainable path towards a cooler planet, one that can continue to support life for generations to come.
We see a future in which we combine our resources, ingenuity, and networks to devise effective and viable solutions that allow businesses and consumers to get the best value for themselves and for our planet.
So sit back and be prepared for a glimpse of that future today. We've got a great event lined up for you, with an array of eminent speakers, climate champions, and visionaries sharing their views on the incredible achievements of the finalist teams. We will be joined by influential global leaders that are tuning in from around the world, share behind-the-scenes footage of the testing process, highlight the breakthrough technologies of the finalist teams, and of course, have the award presentation session later in the ceremony, where Sir Richard Branson will be announcing the winning team or teams of the Global Cooling Prize.
First up, I'm pleased to welcome a distinguished supporter of the Global Cooling Prize, a man who embodies the synergy between entrepreneurship and philanthropy, Mr. Tom Steyer. Mr. Steyer left a successful investing business to lend his money, time, and energy to fighting for progressive causes. Apart from founding the voter mobilization organization Next Gen America to register more young voters and voters of color, he has mobilized grassroots efforts to beat big oil to win clean air laws, force big tobacco to pay its share of the healthcare costs, and close $1 billion corporate tax loophole to fund public schools. Having co-chaired then Vice President Joe Biden's Climate Engagement Advisory Council, he was most recently a Democratic presidential candidate himself and is committed to making sure Americans reap the benefits of climate action in a just and equitable way. It is my pleasure to invite American businessman, hedge fund manager, environmentalist, and all-around force for good in the world, Mr. Tom Steyer, to deliver the welcome address for the Global Cooling Prize's Grand Award Ceremony.
I'm Tom Steyer, and welcome to the Global Cooling Prize's virtual Grand Award Ceremony. We're pleased that you've joined us today for this celebratory event, and we are thrilled to see attendees tuning in from around the world. Today is a momentous day, a day to celebrate the conclusion of a 2.5-year journey to identify breakthrough residential cooling technologies. When the Global Cooling Prize first launched in November 2018, many people questioned if developing a technology with 5 times lower climate impact was even possible. I'm proud to highlight today that not only were the majority of the prize finalists able to develop and deliver prototypes to India amidst the additional challenge of the global pandemic, but we have seen their technologies shatter the perceived ceiling of performance in this sector, with some even exceeding the climate impact criteria of the prize. Not only is this noteworthy from the perspective of technological advancement and innovation, but it provides an opportunity for increased access to cooling along with the benefits to human health and well-being, while addressing the serious climate threats that the growth of current cooling technologies would pose. Through the commitment to innovation and commercialization by participants and supporters of the Global Cooling Prize, we are well on our way to provide affordable access to cooling without further warming the planet. I would like to extend my congratulations to all the finalists of the Global Cooling Prize for their participation and look forward to hearing the announcement of the winners, which will be made by Prize Ambassador Sir Richard Branson later in the program.
Thank you, Mr. Steyer, for highlighting why what we're doing here today matters.
Up next, joining us from London, it's someone who knows a thing or two about how innovation plays a central role in informing strategic and structural decisions. He joined the European Commission in 1994 and is currently the Deputy Director General in Research and Innovation at the European Commission, where he shapes policymaking with a focus on clean energy and climate technologies. He is also currently the chair of the Mission Innovation Steering Committee, a coalition of 24 countries and the European Commission working to accelerate global clean energy innovation. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Patrick Chow.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted and honoured to be part of this exciting celebration. The grand award ceremony for the Global Cooling Prize is a major milestone for clean energy innovation. And I'm proud to represent Mission Innovation here today, a global coalition working to accelerate clean energy technologies. And as well as the chair of the Mission Innovation Steering Committee, I am Deputy Director General of Research and Innovation in the European Commission in Brussels. And Europe set itself the ambitious goal of becoming the first zero-carbon continent by 2050. This is at the heart of Europe's Green Deal strategy, and we're really encouraged to see global partners setting their own net zero targets, as India has done recently. Mission Innovation is all about accelerating affordable clean energy solutions. And that's why we're so pleased to be part of the Global Cooling Prize initiative, together with the Rocky Mountain Institute and the Government of India's Department of Science and Technology. So my first message in the face of global challenges like the COVID pandemic or the existential threats of climate change is that we can never have enough international cooperation. And the Global Cooling Prize is a great example of this. We urgently need zero carbon cooling and technologies that can work at scale. And this is the key goal of the Mission Innovation Challenge 7 on heating and cooling in buildings. More generally, since its launch at the Paris Climate Conference in 2015, Mission Innovation has become a catalyst for global action on clean energy innovation, increasing public investment into research by $4.9 billion annually. Prizes like today's Global Cooling Award are just one of the ways that we brought countries together like never before. We've also seen impressive results from joint research and innovation calls, demonstration projects, and student and researcher exchanges. My second message, in this crucial year for climate, we need to raise our collective goals as we prepare for the Glasgow COP later this year. We're therefore working on a new phase for Mission Innovation, focused on results and delivery of game-changing new technologies. At the next ministerial meeting of Mission Innovation in June of this year, we will launch a set of new missions, global private-public alliances to accelerate tipping points for proven, affordable and sustainable energy solutions. And my final message today is to underline the vital contribution of research and innovation. Harnessing the ingenuity of our scientists and engineers around the globe results in investment and jobs while meeting the needs and expectations of people in their daily lives, as this prize, I'm sure, will help to do. I'm therefore looking forward to hearing the announcement of the winning team and would also like to extend my congratulations to all the finalists of the Global Cooling Prize.
Up next, I am delighted to invite the Secretary of the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, Professor Ashutosh Sharma, to highlight how India's innovation ecosystem is being supported to address the climate crisis.
I am delighted to connect with you all on the occasion of this grand award ceremony. India has been keen to enhance its international cooperation to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, to improve energy access, and draw path for clean economic growth. Department of Science and Technology, through its Clean Energy Research Initiative, has fostered several national and international research programs in collaboration with other agencies. There has been a very productive engagement with mission innovation member countries such as Australia, Canada, Denmark, European Commission, Norway, South Korea, Sweden, UK, and the US. I am glad to tell you that DST has invested over 22.35 million US dollars exclusively for energy efficiency in buildings. Low energy heating and cooling technologies is one of our priority areas in this program. Through this program, Department of Science and Technology has supported over 400 scientists, researchers in about 60 R&D institutions across the country. Our consistent efforts, we have created an ecosystem for public-private partnerships to accelerate clean energy innovations. It is an encouraging fact that over 60 industries are actively engaged in this program, especially in the area of low energy heating and cooling technologies. DST has supported the development of over 10 testing facilities in different parts of the country. This includes component level testing to full-scale prototyping to demonstration. The global demand for cooling continues to increase, and our estimates are the number of room air conditioning units is likely to increase to about from 1.2 billion units today to 4.5 billion units by 2050. India is likely to see a five-fold increase in demand over the same period. Global Cooling Prize aimed to spur development of a residential cooling solution that has at least 5 times less climate impact than today's standard products. The selected teams have displayed a wide range of innovative technologies, including smart hybrid designs of vapor compression systems, evaporative cooling solutions, and solid-state cooling technologies using little or no global warming refrigerants. It's a unique aspect of the Global Cooling Prize that the technologies were full-scale tested under both real-world conditions as well as simulated lab conditions to determine which teams met the very ambitious and stringent criteria. I'm happy that Indian startups, Indian industries, and even more so Indian academia have played a critical role in realizing the goals of Global Cooling Prize. My compliments and best wishes to the finalist teams for harnessing the power of innovation to provide cooling for all in a sustainable manner. Thank you very much. Enjoy the show.
Thank you to Professor Ashutosh Sharma for shedding a light on the importance of innovation in the cooling sector. The Global Cooling Prize was conceptualized to channel the resources of global innovators towards helping us transition to a cooler, more sustainable world. We are now going to hear more about this from someone whose passion for clean energy and efficient cooling led to the inception of the Global Cooling Prize. As president of York International, he was responsible for the commercial and industrial HVAC and refrigeration businesses, covering product development, engineering, manufacturing, sales, and service within the Americas region. Subsequently, he was responsible for the Global Energy Solutions and the Global Workplace Solutions businesses within Johnson Controls. It gives me immense pleasure to invite Ian Campbell, Senior Fellow at RMI, to share the story behind the inception of the prize and why launching an inducement innovation competition was deemed the most effective vehicle for tackling the residential cooling dilemma. Over to you, Ian.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm delighted to be joining you all from Denver, Colorado, USA. Our keynote speakers have done a wonderful job framing the importance of cooling, global collaboration, and innovation. And building on their remarks, I wanted to share why we look to a prize as a change model for this sector. The initial catalyst was way back in late 2016 with the agreement of 197 countries to the Kigali Amendment of the Montreal Protocol to phase down the use of highly potent HFC refrigerants. At the time, this amendment was lauded as perhaps the single biggest step taken to address climate change, with the potential to avoid a full 0.5 degrees centigrade of warming. But only 1/5 of the climate impact of today's air conditioners is associated with HFC refrigerants. The balance is indirect emissions from the electricity that they consume. So this raised a question: can we make a jump in the efficiency of cooling in conjunction with the jump that was going to happen to new refrigerants? Certainly science was telling us that much greater efficiencies were theoretically possible, but how to find and demonstrate them? So it was like looking for the proverbial needle in a haystack. But as our friends at Conservation X Lab shared with us, with a prize, the needle may just come and find you. So a prize it was, and we chose to narrow our focus to the largest, fastest growing and most challenging sector, residential or room air conditioning, and we set the primary prize criteria as 5 times lower climate impact. Why 5 times? Simply, this was what we calculated as necessary to neutralize the climate impact of the inevitable growth in cooling over the next 3 to 4 decades, effectively completely solving the cooling dilemma of how to support increased access to cooling without further warming the planet. 5 times was also a sufficiently audacious goal to ensure that the journey would be a worthwhile one. And telling us they could achieve this was not enough. Finalists would need to show us, through an incredibly rigorous set of testing protocols that were developed together with SEPT University, that would validate their performance. With the support of generous funders, the first of whom was Tom Steyer back in 2017, the Indian government through the Department of Science and Technology, Mission Innovation, and a broad-based coalition of outreach partners from AEEE in India to the UN Environment Programme and to the World Wildlife Fund, we were able to mobilize. With this introduction, it's now my pleasure to introduce a short highlight video of the prize journey from its launch back in 2018 to the event here today. Please enjoy. Over the past century, the world has been transformed by rapid technological advancements and relentless innovation. Life has been made easier and more enjoyable by technologies that have revolutionized how we communicate, how we travel, and experience moments. And every year, these technologies become faster, smarter, sleeker, safer, and more efficient. But what about an appliance that is increasingly viewed as essential for living in many parts of the world? The humble air conditioner.
Unlike other technologies, the AC hasn't changed a great deal since Willis Carrier developed the first home air conditioner in 1926.
According to cooling experts, if Mr. Carrier were to come back to life, he would know exactly how the vapor compression system of today's units work.
the core technology has barely changed.
What has changed is that it has become dramatically more affordable and accessible,
with 3 new air conditioners being sold every second.
This increased access to cooling has positively impacted the health, the well-being, and productivity of people around the world.
But it comes at an environmental cost we cannot afford.
The very devices that are keeping us cool and comfortable are heating up the planet.
A warming planet, combined with increased urbanization and rising income levels, is driving an unprecedented growth in demand for residential room air conditioners.
At the current rate of demand, 4.5 billion ACs will be in use globally, over 3 times more than are in operation today, using an astounding 2,000 extra gigawatts of energy.
The gigatons of carbon dioxide equivalent emissions that are released due to the appliance's energy demand
and the atmospheric impact of the refrigerants together will contribute significantly to global warming.
If left unchecked, use of residential room air conditioners could lead to up to 0.5 degrees Celsius of warming by the end of the century. In short, keeping cool now is making our planet heat up dangerously in the long run.
So how do we solve this cooling dilemma? The Global Cooling Prize, an innovation competition to develop a climate-friendly residential cooling solution, was launched in November 2018
with the aim of tackling the cooling challenge head-on.
So how did we do this? By getting the best minds in the cooling world on board, incentivizing the development of ideas for sustainable, more efficient and affordable cooling technologies.
And ultimately, we aim to replace air conditioners in stores with these newer, better, and less environmentally harmful technologies to begin the journey towards a cooler planet.
From this foundational concept came the formal call for innovators across sectors and around the world to create breakthrough, innovative cooling solutions at 5 times less climate impact.
Through dramatically lower energy consumption and less harmful refrigerants, and at no more than 2 times the purchase price of standard AC units being sold in the market today.
Over the course of a year, more than 2,100 registrations from the prize from 96 countries were received.
And of this, 139 teams from 31 countries followed through with detailed technical applications.
Finally, the prize's technical review committee whittled down those selections to 8 finalists from around the world,
representing significant diversity of technologies and approaches.
These were announced in November 2019.
Barakal, Daikin with Nikon Sakai, Godrej and Boyce Manufacturing with ATE Enterprises, Gree Electric Appliances with Tsinghua University, Creighton Corporation with IIT Bombay, Porus Laboratories and Infosys, M2 Thermal Solutions, S&S Design Startup Solutions, Transera with Qingdao Haier.
These 8 finalists were given $200,000 each to develop a prototype.
6 teams delivered their prototypes in the midst of a global pandemic that disrupted lives and affected manufacturing supply chains.
And that brings us to where we are today.
At the cusp of recognizing a breakthrough technology that has shattered the ceiling of expected performance and taken on one of the biggest threats to our climate.
The Global Cooling Prize is more than just a reward for excellence in engineering. It heralds a new paradigm in the fight against climate change.
The Global Cooling Prize is a promise of a culture of innovation that can galvanize engineers, innovators, and corporations around the world to focus on super efficient, climate-friendly, and affordable solutions to our most pressing problems.
It's a validation of what is technically possible and what can be realistically scaled. It establishes momentum, building the political will to move beyond incremental energy improvements and adopt much more aggressive performance rating systems and energy performance standards.
But most of all, the Global Cooling Prize is a vision of access to cooling for all without warming the planet.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Global Cooling Prize Grand Awards ceremony. We started our selection process with more than 2,100 registrations from nearly 100 countries. From there, 139 teams from 31 countries successfully completed the detailed technical applications and became official candidates for the prize. They put their considerable resources to the task of developing technologies that could deliver cooling with 5 times less climate impact. In November of 2019, we announced the 8 finalists of the prize, awarding them $200,000 each to develop their prototypes. To hear more about the trials, the tribulations, and successes of our finalist teams, we are delighted to have Dr. Paul Bungie joining us today to lead us through a candid fireside chat with each team. Paul is the Chief Operating Officer and Chief Scientific Officer at Conservation X Labs. He was formerly the Chief Scientist at the X Prize Foundation, where he led the impact strategy across Grand Challenge domains at X Prize, spanning civil society, environment, energy, health, and exploration. Dr. Bungie is a global thought leader in bringing innovation to solve environmental grand challenges, and we are delighted to have him lead us through this next session.
Thank you so much, Vindhya, and welcome to the Global Cooling Prize Fireside Chats with our finalists. I'm Paul Bungie, the co-founder of Conservation X Labs, and I'll be your host for these conversations with the finalists in the Global Cooling Prize. I can't wait to share some of their stories with you. I can't wait myself to hear what they've been through and what challenges they've overcome and what successes they've been able to show because of the global pandemic and all of the challenges we've all faced around the last year. I'm coming to you virtually, as are our finalist teams from around the world, from the US to the UK, from India to China. We're going to be journeying around the world to hear their incredible stories. This last year has created some incredible challenges, not just in all of our efforts to communicate with each other, but imagine trying to go through a competition where you're testing prototypes, you're developing new technologies, you're trying to iterate, you're trying to get better and better and better and achieve an incredible goal, all while being done in a global pandemic. And even with the accommodations that we were able to give in terms of time, this produced an amazing amount of difficulty that I'm proud to say our teams overcame with aplomb, several of which even exceeding the incredibly hard goal that we set of 5 times less climate impact than traditional cooling technologies. So I can't wait to hear their stories. I can't wait to share with you their journeys through this. So let's get started. And I'm excited to welcome, in alphabetical order, Team Barakal.
Finding new ways of achieving cooling that are environmentally friendly is really key, and it's actually perhaps one of the most important challenges of this century. So Barakal is developing a new technology that is disruptive. It exploits a type of material that is called barocaloric. And this is a solid material that changes temperature when you apply pressure and remove pressure. So our hope is that future generations will benefit from this, and they will be able to cool and heat their homes, offices, and vehicles in an environmentally friendly manner. What I learned about myself during the process is that I really enjoy being an entrepreneur and developing a new technology from scratch. So the next step for our company is to develop the second generation prototype based on barocaloric materials. We are also establishing new long-term partnerships with key industrial partners in order to develop different applications. And also we are growing the team at Barakal.
Well, hello, Javier. It is so good to see you again.
Very good to see you, Paul.
It's been some time since we were together in New Delhi and having a great chat about what you and Team Barakal were about to embark on. The world has been through some rather trying times, and I'm sure you have not been immune from those.
No.
Remind us all, because you had a unique approach to the cooling problem, an approach that was pretty revolutionary. Remind us all the sort of barocaloric approach that you all took.
So what we are trying to do is we are trying to achieve cooling using a solid refrigerant. So traditional technologies use a gas that when you compress it, it gets hot, and when you expand it, it gets cold. So what we are trying to do is the same thing, but with a solid material, so it doesn't contaminate or pollute the atmosphere.
It really does seem like the future of cooling in some ways. What are the prospects for us being able to use this in a real product? What are you looking towards in the future?
We're trying to bring these materials to the market by building prototypes around. So it's still a very early stage technology, but actually thanks to the Global Cooling Prize, we've been able to make lots of progress. So now we have actually a real cooling system based on our material. So that's been a very exciting development over the last year and a bit.
First of all, congratulations for all of the incredible progress that you've made, for being a finalist in the Global Cooling Prize. And thank you for joining me today, and thank you for all of your hard work, you, Javier, and the entire Baracal team.
Oh, thank you very much. I think we are committed to do our part. So we'll push this barocaloric technology as much as we can, and we really want to make something, a meaningful contribution to solving the decarbonization of cooling and heating. So hopefully in the next years we will have actually some systems that are actually performing at the level that we expect.
I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it. Well, thank you so much, and congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
Daikin globally believes that it is our intention to develop high efficiency air conditioners. So we applied for this Global Cooling Prize as an opportunity to consider innovative ideas that no one has ever considered. And for developing nations such as India, pioneering an economical and sustainable solution remains very critical, creating the market and growing the market. Our prototype product for GCP is our out-of-box concept. We believe that we have contributed to the creation of the first step of solution that can provide a safe and healthy air for the next generation by continuously challenging and generating the next innovations.
It's been quite some time since we joined you in New Delhi there, and enjoyed a wonderful time. But it's been some months since then, and much has happened in the world. Also with Team Daikin, yes.
Well, I think this year, the year which has gone by was very, very tough for the leadership, because of COVID. I remember I was in Japan in January last year, and after that I couldn't go. It is just that everything was locked down.
I recall when we last spoke, you described the different approaches, that sort of 3 different innovations that you were bringing together in order to meet this challenge of 5 times less climate impact in the room ACs. Tell me about the progress that you and the team made in each of those different technological areas.
Yeah, I think, our participation in this GCP was part of the effort to examine and explore low climate impact technology. We were trying to bring the highest ISER units probably at an affordable prices in the country.
Are there any ways that you see the Global Cooling Prize having really changed the approach or pushed Daikin forward in any particular way? What did this prize mean to you as a team?
Well, Paul, I think we were very encouraged. I told you last time also when we sat together that India is the country which has got skill, which is most important. India also as a country has a large scale, and India very strongly believe in sustainability. So I think all these factors, if you take words, 17% of the world population is in India. And for that, people are trying to create the ecosystem, not only in creating the market, growing the market in India, and the penetration level earlier was very low. With the advanced products coming to India with the highest ISER and also at the same time reasonable price, and people putting up investments in innovation, R&D solution. So basically, all these are supporting the contribution for the betterment of society, for giving employment at a large scale to people, and at the same time giving good solutions to the customers.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Jawa. It is always a pleasure. Congratulations to you and Team Daikin. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul.
And for everyone else, stay tuned for Team Godrej next.
The team at Godrej wanted to achieve our basic mission to further the use of natural refrigerants. If you see values of our company, environment is one of our core values of the company. The Global Cooling Prize initiative is a wonderful initiative. It will help to get affordable cooling to the masses in the context of global warming, where summers are getting increasingly unbearable. Prize really triggered in our thought process, in our strategy, to use a combination of more than one cooling method in a single unit to get a much higher performance on energy efficiency. We as industry have been focusing a lot longer on a single technology of a vapor compression cooling. Now probably it is the time to look beyond vapor compression to really take this noble goal forward.
How are you? How is the rest of your team? And how has the pandemic affected you all in your innovation?
I think the entire team is quite good. In fact, we opened way back on 19th of May itself, while most of the country was under lockdown. And one of the things why we decided to open was, the work on a prototype and of course the other live projects which are going on.
You all have made some changes to your prototypes as you've been developing over the last year and a half, 2 years. Tell me a little bit about how it is that you reached some barriers, but were able to overcome them as you shifted the technology that you approached in order to help meet these goals.
We're wanting to use evaporative cooling technology for both our indoors as well as outdoors. And that's how we have thought our original concept design. But when we started developing it, we realized that use of it in the evaporative cooling was adding penalty on an indoor side. So therefore, we realized the criteria which was set for the performance, and therefore we changed and decided to go with evaporative cooling technology only on outdoor.
You do much more than just the cooling. I'm curious if some of those innovations that you identified, you've been able to push into some of your other products.
We did come out with some interesting innovations which are COVID specific. In fact, we have recently launched a UV-based disinfection device which can be used by end consumers in their homes, offices. Also, we have come out with a washing machine which can give you COVID-free wash, which is very, very relevant under current situation.
Thanks to the entire team at Godrej, and congratulations again for the incredible success that you've already seen to date, and congratulations for everything that I know you're going to see in the future. So thank you so much for everything you've done.
Thank you so much, Paul. And I must once again thank and compliment organizers of this Global Cooling Prize, because that has also kind of put all of us into the position where we wear our thinking hat once again and consciously contribute towards this mammoth challenge So thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thanks to you.
这个气候变暖问题是当前社会人类面临的一个共同挑战，我们有义务也有责任，通过我们的技术创新，降低智能行业对环境的影响，促进智能行业的可持续发展。
Our solution actually is an ultra highly efficient hybrid room cooling system with PV and electricity supplement, which climate adaptively work in vapor compression, refrigeration mode, and direct evaporative cooling and ventilation modes.
我们计划将比赛结果应用于产品，将5倍节能空调推向市场。
The challenging 5x target really stimulates our interest. We want to find if we can realize the seemingly impossible aim.
Well, hello, hello. It is wonderful to see you both. Congratulations on making it this far in the Global Cooling Prize.
Very nice to meet you, Paul, again. Thank you very much. We're very glad to meet you.
Yes. Tell me a little bit about what you've been through. How was it building out this prototype and seeing your technology actually deployed and tested?
Just like you said, it's not an easy period for us because it's very tough for everyone in the world. So it's also we also have the same situation. So we actually pass some very difficult time during build the prototype and finally deliver the prototype to the testing seats. But I'm very, very glad we finally reached this moment, and I think our prototype get a very satisfied for us performance. Yeah.
What about this competition and the criteria in particular did you find challenging or helpful, both from the innovation and research standpoint, Changfei, as you mentioned, but also from an industrial standpoint that GRI is interested in?
To be honest, yes. When I first time see their targets is to decrease 5 times less climate impact. You know, the air conditioner is not just like a high tech or something just like a rocket things. You know, it's a quite traditional one. So after many decades development, so you cannot say you save energy about 80%. So it's for me at that moment it seems impossible. So, but we are very glad we have a lot of discussion with team GRI, and we have a lot of calculation conducted by our students.
Right. What's next? What happens after this competition for both of you, for GRI, for Tsinghua, for the technology?
我们下一步计划继续降低我们这个产品的成本，提高产品的能效，逐步扩大我们这个产品的一个市场占有率。期望我们创新成果可以成为未来家用空调的一个主流产品，用我们这个智慧降低行业对气候的影响，为绿色地球。我们团队的名字就叫绿色地球，为我们这个团队这个目标一起奋斗。
Yeah.
I'm so impressed by all of the work that you and your entire team have done. Congratulations again on how far you've made it, and thank you so much for being a part of the Global Cooling Prize.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Next up, we are going to hear from Team Creighton.
For Creighton, sustainability is one of the key pillars of our company strategy. We need to do our part in a resource-constrained world. There isn't really anything bigger problem to solve than air conditioning. Our technology is fairly simple. At the core of the technology is a membrane based on a material called Nexar.
We add evaporative cooling to temperature control, and then we use our material Nexar to do the moisture control.
Global Cooling Prize certainly provided us the awareness that how significant of a challenge it is.
We like this space, and we want to spend time and energy to make sure that we see some of the innovations that we envisioned because of the Global Cooling Prize come to fruition in the near future.
Welcome, Vijay. Welcome, Roger. It's so great to see you again.
Likewise, Paul. Good to see you.
Team Creighton, you're not a traditional air conditioning company. What were some of the most difficult elements of technically of you being able to accomplish this?
Our challenges were around scaling it up to a full-scale prototype. We underestimated the difficulty that we're going to face because there isn't anything like that is available. You could just buy something off the shelf and do it. We had to hand assemble the prototype, and trying to do that remotely where we can't be with the team and touch and feel and test it and then improvise it, that made it really challenging.
I mean, you've made incredible progress, even given all these challenges, in demonstrating and identifying ways to scale up this.
Yeah, and Paul, I'll say that the team here feels extremely fortunate to have had a chance to participate in this challenge, and the reason is it gives us a chance to do something that's truly meaningful, right? And we kind of opened up here a variety of opportunities.
And indeed, we're very thankful to the Global Cooling Prize competition organizers and sponsors, because without that, this is not something that we have undertaken.
Well, I love seeing you. I can't wait to see you all in person. I can't wait to have my technology in my cooling unit so that my house is clean and comfortable, and see the successes that you all enjoy long into the future. So congratulations again on everything you've done to this point, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Next up, we are going to meet with Team M2. Excited to hear their stories as well. Thanks, Roger. Thanks, Vijay.
We at M Squared Thermal Solutions are committed to developing this next generation of air conditioning. What we really hope to achieve was to have not just incremental efficiency, but to be able to take a high risk, high reward position and bring a next generation technology to market that can make a dramatic difference in the performance of these types of systems.
The time that we have to act in combating climate change is short, and large programs like the Global Cooling Prize really help us to move forward more quickly. And we really need to continue to come together as a community, whether it's through more competitions or more collaboration with each other, large companies and small, to really move much faster than we have been in the last couple of decades to bring these cooling solutions to market faster so they can make a real big impact in the short term.
Well, hello to Team M2 Thermal Solutions. Welcome, guys.
Good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Tell me, how has it been the last year and a half, and in particular, working on your prototype and pushing through challenges both technical and global in scale?
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting precipice we were on. That was November 2019 when we all met in New Delhi. It was right as the virus was breaking out. So we were very optimistic leaving the kickoff ceremony. We're able to work with many of our component suppliers to start building our prototype. Things went very well. We obviously had some timeline setbacks, especially with international suppliers as we move forward. but we were still able to move along with progress, having fewer people in our laboratory at a time, less travel, no international travel, but the fundamentals of our system haven't changed at all.
How has the prize itself helped you push to the next steps?
I think the biggest takeaway is the mentality of all of the people that are part of this coalition. Every time we speak to anybody of the dozens of support companies, it's never, any motivations of them. The first thing they always start with is how can we help? What can we do to get this prototype up? And then once we do, how can we scale it the fastest?
It was really the Global Cooling Prize that really motivated us to pursue this. I mean, this very likely could still be on a shelf somewhere not even a shelf, maybe the back of our brain, sort of.
Ryan, Jacob, thanks to you, thanks to the entire M² team, and congratulations, honestly, for an incredible amount of hard work under incredibly difficult circumstances, and helping show what's possible when you think big, dream big, and push yourselves to do something transformative.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for your support.
Everyone else, let's roll on to the next team. We're going to welcome in Transera.
We all know that people are going to be running more air conditioners in the future as the planet warms up, and we want to be sure to develop a solution that works in that world.
We believe we have the right solution to meet this challenge. Our product solves a problem that's been around for air conditioning since the very beginning: moisture removal. We use a new class of materials called MOFs to pull moisture from the air without creating liquid water. And it turns out that doing this lets us run the whole system much more efficiently.
What role did the prize play in developing a radically more sustainable cooling solution? I think it really did two things. First, it helped us narrow our focus on a critical need in the Indian residential market. And secondly, it really helped us broaden our thinking about how to achieve that.
We signed up for the GCP because we believe this technology could change the world, and we want to get it out there.
Hi, Sordine, how are you?
Hey, Paul, great to see you.
Likewise. It's been too long, but congratulations to you and Transera on this incredible journey and making it this far in the Global Cooling Prize.
Thanks. Yeah, we were on a stage doing a real fireside chat a year and a half ago.
The world has changed.
A lot has changed. A lot has changed for us too, Transera. I mean, it's been a great journey. This Global Cooling Prize competition has been great for us. It really brought the team together, really demonstrated that we have something that's viable.
And I mean, you're a pretty small team, a small startup that must have brought its own challenge.
Oh yeah, but good and bad in some ways. When COVID hit, we were able to shift pretty quickly to working remotely. We couldn't get access to our lab, for example, but we shifted to making prototypes in our garages. And so I think because we're a small team, we're able to pivot more quickly like that.
What do you hope comes from this, I guess? Because this prize is about changing, yes, a technology that is inefficient and challenging, but it's really about so much more in terms of climate change and reducing carbon emissions and helping future generations.
Incremental innovations no longer would solve it. You cannot do this with incremental innovation. Solving climate change, you need radical innovation. And I think this opens up the opportunity for startups and new ideas to come into play. And I think this is what the Global Cooling Prize sort of opened up this and allowed sort of open the curtain to show that there's a lot of innovation out there that could be brought to the foreground, and giving us a platform to test these technologies and validate our ideas was very critical. And we hope this is a springboard for us to continue. And I not just hope, I know it will be the springboard for us to continue And in fact, we've now, grown the team. We've raised a bit of funding. This is now, it's taken like a little cyclone, starting up, and now it's become a pretty powerful force. And I think, this is going to continue for us, and we hope to really, make a difference in this world, and see this technology show up in millions and millions of homes.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations again to you and the whole team. Please tell everyone at Transcera, your partners at Hire, and everywhere else, how proud we are of how far you've made it, and we can't wait to be a part of your future journey as well. So, Sorin, thank you so much.
Thanks, Paul.
That just makes me so enthusiastic about the future, not just of cooling technology, but the ability of innovators from small companies to large ones to help us transform what is possible, not just with respect to cooling technology, as they've shown, but with respect to all of our technologies that help power our world. Congratulations to all of our finalists. They have done incredible work. I hope you can see just how amazing they are, and just what the future holds, not only for them, but for all of us. Thanks to all of you for tuning into these conversations. And now, please stay tuned for a little bit longer to find out which of these amazing teams is the grand prize winner of the Global Cooling Prize.
Thank you so much, Paul, for those engaging and insightful discussions with the finalists. As all of us must have gathered from those fireside chats, each of our finalist teams had a concrete and promising vision. But could those visions translate into high-performance machines capable of delivering on that promise under real-world conditions? Our rigorous testing process was designed to find out. Let's take a look at how this breakthrough and novel prototypes were tested on a wide range of parameters to determine who is the best of the best.
We've now learned about the testing parameters that the prototypes were put through. It was pretty much an extreme boot camp for air conditioners. But how and where were these multiple prototype tests executed? In order to gain these insights, today we have joining us Professor Rajan Rawal, Executive Director for the Center for Advanced Research in Building Science and Energy at CEPT University in Ahmedabad, India. Professor Rawal serves as a member on several important committees, such as the Bureau of Indian Standards, Bureau of Energy Efficiency, and Indian Green Building Council. He has served as the principal investigator of research and development projects funded by the Government of India, multilateral agencies, development banks, and philanthropic organizations. While designing the testing procedure for cooling technologies, we couldn't have been in better hands. Let's learn more about the state-of-the-art facility where the prototypes were put to the test. Over to you, Professor Rawal.
It probably took about 45 days in a field and 9 months in a lab to conduct the entire tests. About 10 to 12 technicians were involved. They were staying together in almost like an air bubble, and it was a challenging time.
This is the state-of-the-art facility designed for rigorous evaluation of finalist prototypes received under Global Cooling Prize competition. Let us have a look inside why this facility is so special. This is our outdoor chamber where we maintain outdoor conditions of the space. These are the air handling units, air handling unit 1 and 2 that operate to achieve hot and dry, hot and humid, warm and humid or cold condition in this space. These are high accuracy energy meters where we monitor the unit energy consumption. So you have seen what is an outdoor space is, which represents an ambient or outdoor conditions. Let us see how the instruments are representing the indoor space. These 4 cylinders that you see, they represent internal sensible loads. And the surface area of the heaters equal to the human skin surface area. So the overall sensible heat is divided into 4 parts and they are modulated throughout the day as per the predefined schedule. We mounted different indoor units in here. We are measuring the supply temperature and RH and return temperature RH of the units. What you see here in the center is an ultrasonic humidifier. This is a globe temperature sensor which is connected to building management system, so we can actually operate the chamber to maintain a certain specific globe temperature sensor. This is Harshil, he looks after the chamber operations. This is Jamin, he takes care of the building management system of the chamber. This is Pankaj and Aniket. They look after the air conditioning systems of the chamber. This is Vishnu. He looks after all the sensors inside the chamber. This is Arjun. He looks after the energy monitoring systems of the chamber.
It was fantastic to be part of this, especially when finalists pushed the innovation boundaries to create a breakthrough technologies and to provide a cooling without warming a planet.
Thank you so much, Professor Rawal and everyone at CEPT University for giving us an insight into your work and the thoroughness of the processes to evaluate these incredible technologies. We're getting closer to the business end of the show. The announcement we're all waiting for is going to be made very soon by none other than Sir Richard Branson himself. But before that, I think we'd all like to know about the adjudication process and how the winner was determined. With all of the prototypes showing so much promise, how did the Technical Review Committee make the final decision? Earlier this week, Mr. Ian Campbell caught up with the distinguished members of the Technical Review Committee. They include Dr. Gabrielle Dreyfus, Senior Scientist at the Institute for Governance and Sustainable Development in Washington, D.C. Dr. Nihar Shah, Deputy Head at the International Energy Analysis Department of the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratories in Berkeley, California. Dr. Sukumar Devota, former Director at National Environmental Engineering Research Institute in New Delhi. And Professor Toby Peters, Engineering and Physical Sciences Professor in Cold Economy at the University of Birmingham. Let's take a look.
Hello. So let me start by thanking our panelists for joining us today. representing the technical review committee of the prize. So let us jump straight in and get started. And Gabby, if I may, I'd like to start with yourself and whether you can share a little about the evaluation process and how the winning team or teams were actually selected.
Sure, thanks, Ian. The Cooling Prize was designed to reward technologies that will make a difference in the world. And this means that they have to demonstrate not only that they can perform both in lab and field tests, but that they can meet this 5 times better climate impact, both through better energy efficiency and through a climate-friendly refrigerant. And they also have to do that sustainably and reliably. And most importantly, affordably. So there's a 2 times cost against a baseline unit that is an important criteria so that these technologies really can get deployed in the world to make an impact.
Toby, can you share what you found to be some of the most intriguing elements of the finalist technologies?
I think the range of approaches to the same challenge. So I was really excited to see the integration of multiple existing technologies into single solutions, but then also a diversity of new technologies. So for example, solid state cooling and the use of new materials to show where cooling can go. And of course, I was really pleased that everybody focused on ultra low or natural GWP refrigerants within the technology mixes.
Nihar, could you share a little bit about how the technical review committee actually evaluated the 5 times lower climate impact when there's kind of 3 different testing approaches that were undertaken within the prize, the field test, the lab test, as well as ICER testing?
Thanks, Ian. Yes. First, the field test was given about 18% weighting, and the lab test was given about 82% weighting due to the uncertainty inherent in the field test. And the second, the ICER test was informational only and not used for evaluation purposes, partly because the ICER, as currently framed, cannot accurately capture the energy savings from some of the more innovative technologies that are coming online. And we'll be doing some follow-up work on that, on the metrics, to better capture the savings from these technologies. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, thank you, Nihar. You know, we've been together on this journey for pretty much the last 3 years. What have you actually learned by being a part of this process that you think is going to impact your future work, your work in the cooling space? What do you think is going to impact your future work?
One of the things that the process of doing the testing in a climate like India, where you have high humidity, is the recognition that there are parts of the world that are already experiencing combinations of extreme heat and humidity that are deadly, that are essentially at the limit of human threshold of survivability. And so these technologies that are winning this prize, that are reading these prize criteria, are also very efficient at managing humidity. And this is really critical to me going forward, is recognizing that when we deliver cooling and make that affordable and accessible, it has to deal both with the heat and the humidity.
I think that the industry, as well as startups, can provide the game-changing innovations. I think that's a really good learning for me. But and also that despite the lack of research investment for what has historically been a blind spot in the climate debate, this has just reaffirmed to me that this is a sector full of innovators who, if we get behind them, can deliver material pathways to meeting our climate targets.
I think a couple of things really come through for me. The first is a focus on getting the policy signal right, which means, of course, getting the efficiency metrics, the test procedures, and the standards kind of lined up. And then the second, we need a renewed focus on reduction in the costs, in the first cost, even beyond the 2x criteria that we had. And I think we'll likely focus on these 2 topics going forward.
Lots of learnings from the prize, Sukumar, but what does this actually mean for the people of India?
India has a poor penetration, but it still needs cooling for people's comfort because of high temperature and high humidity. And this is still not affordable now. And one of the another problem is its efficiency. Although we have star rating and improving the higher rating in the market, it's still not good enough. But what this challenge has done, competition has done, is to throw open many opportunities, many windows of opportunities, and demonstrated that it is possible to overshoot the existing energy efficiency targets and still make it affordable. So it's important that we provide cooling for all. Yeah, so this is what I feel that this is going to do.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. In closing here, let me first express my sincere appreciation to our panelists, our technical review committee members that joined me here today. But that's not the full body of the technical review committee. We have other members, the 4 panelists here, actually representing the full body of the technical review committee. And just want to thank everyone for their dedication and support. And sincerely, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ian.
Thank you, Ian.
Thanks, Ian. It's been a pleasure.
Well, that clarified so much, but I still imagine that this must have been a very difficult decision to make.
Yes, the technical review committee really had their work cut out for them. Our finalists did a fantastic job. Thanks to them, we know it's possible to develop an array of technologies that perform considerably better than the conventional baseline units being sold on the market today.
You're absolutely right, Ihan. There's no question about that. And we've arrived at the moment when we find out who among our finalists was able to leverage their expertise and imagination to develop truly breakthrough technologies. The culmination of a 2.5-year endeavor. This is the moment we've been waiting for.
Yes, it's time to end the suspense and find out who the winner of the Global Cooling Prize is. As we mentioned earlier, the Global Cooling Prize selected 8 finalist teams for their promising and innovative ideas. Of those 8 teams, 4 of them were able to successfully complete the required field and lab testing processes and are in the running for the grand prize of $1 million and the title of winner of the Global Cooling Prize. These teams, in alphabetical order, are from India and Japan, Team Daikin with partner Nikon Sekai. Also from India, Team Godrej and Boyce Manufacturing Company Limited with partner ATE Enterprises Private Limited. From China, Team Gree Electric Appliances Incorporated of Zhuhai with partner Tsinghua University. And from the United States of America and China, Team Transera with partner Qingdao Haier. We are honored to have with us today a man who is a brand unto himself. And that brand stands for values we hold dear: entrepreneurial courage and the desire for radical transformation. Sir Richard Branson. Sir Richard started Virgin as a mail-order record retailer in 1970. That venture became Virgin Records, the biggest independent music label in the world. He then followed this with a series of business ventures that went on to build the Virgin Group. Virgin Unite is the independent entrepreneurial foundation of the Virgin Group and the Branson family. It tackles social and environmental problems and strives to make business a force for good. Sir Richard has a commitment to marrying business with philanthropy and humanitarian work, and has consistently used his entrepreneurship to provoke positive change in the world. In 1999, Sir Richard was awarded a knighthood for services to entrepreneurship. He is an adventurer, an innovator, and a disruptor, and he is joining us today to announce the winner or winners of the Global Cooling Prize. Over to you, Sir Richard.
Hello, everybody. I am absolutely thrilled to be with you all today for the Global Cooling Prize Grand Awards ceremony. These past 30 months have been challenging for everybody, so it's particularly heartening to be at an event like this, where we're showcasing our resilient spirit and our determination to keep doing work that's important for our beautiful world. When RMI, Mission Innovation, and the Government of India launched the Global Cooling Prize a little over 2 years ago, they did so recognizing the enormous climate threat that comes from the growing demand for air conditioning. Our planet is getting hotter at an alarming rate, and increasingly people in the hottest regions of the world are talking about affordable cooling as not a luxury, but a necessity. But keeping ourselves cool comes at an environmental cost that we simply cannot afford. And unless we course correct right now, we're looking at a rise in global temperatures of 0.5 centigrade by the end of the century due to residential air conditioning alone. Well, the Global Cooling Prize emerged from a recognition of this need. It invited innovators and manufacturers from around the world to rise to the challenge. 8 of the most promising technologies were selected to receive support for the production of their prototypes. Those 8 became the finalists. But look, I want to first congratulate all the finalists for responding to this call to action. You have demonstrated your readiness to step up, your capacity to go above and beyond, and your commitment to a larger cause. Going over the work you have put in for this prize has filled me with pride and excitement, because I can see vision, I see diligence, I see precision, and above all, I see hope. The criteria were very specific. We're not just talking about an efficient air conditioner, but one that has 5 times less climate impact than the standard unit on the market today, while also being affordable and scalable. Following rigorous testing over the last 6 months, the prize's technical review committee adjured to review the performance of the finalist prototypes. And I'm overjoyed to announce that not 1, but 2 teams have succeeded in meeting the parameters outlined by the prize and are so close in performance that they cannot be separated. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have not 1, but we have 2 winners. And so, without further ado, it is my pleasure to announce the winners of the Global Cooling Prize. And the winners in alphabetical order are Team Daikin with partner Nikon CK and Team Gree with partner Tsinghua University. And I just want to say congratulations to both of you. Team Daikin, we would love you to say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Richard Branson, for presenting this award. On behalf of Daikin and Team Nikon, I'm extremely honored and grateful to receive this award as the final winner of Global Cooling Prize. It's impossible to oversee the importance of environmental awareness in many ways. How people manage their immediate environment are more important than how much they can expect from others. That's the consciousness that must be discovered. And that's vital no matter how big or small you are in your own path to contribute to this, saving the green plan. And a big thanks to Global Cooling Prize, big thanks to you again and all the partners for their great support, excellent coordination with all the finalists, and above all, making this grand event successful. Arigato gozaimasu. Namaskar.
Arigato gozaimasu. And yeah, thank you so much. And over to you, Team Gree. We would love to hear from you also.
大家好，非常高兴我们的林太原空调技术赢得了全球智能技术大奖赛的最高奖。感谢主办单位、组委会、赞助商和安装测试团队的努力和付出，感谢清华团队的精诚合作。格力电器将继续坚持创新驱动、科技引领的发展道路，积极研发更加低碳环保的智能技术，为保护我们赖以生存的地球环境做出应有的贡献。谢谢大家。
Okay, I'm gonna make it like a brief translation for all the things. Good morning or good evening, everyone. I'm very glad that our Risk to Zero cooling technology has won the top award of the Global Cooling Prize. We would like to thank the organizer, the organizing committee, the sponsors, and the installation and testing team for their hard work. We also want to thank the Tsinghua University team for their sincere cooperation. Green Electric Appliances of Zhuhai will contribute continue to adhere the innovation-driven and technology-led development paths. Actively research and develop more low-carbon and environment-friendly refrigeration technology, and make due contribution to the protection of the Earth's environment. Thank you.
Thank you for your beautiful translating, and thank you, Team Greed. And I would just want to say thank you to the other finalists who've worked incredibly hard for this, and best of luck in keeping that work going. I just want to say that your innovative technologies show absolutely incredible promise, and I'm sure they will be further developed and refined. And we wish you all every success in the journey forward. The road to realizing one's dreams can be a bumpy one, but that's precisely why we innovate and why we try again and again to figure out how to navigate the twists and the turns on the path to our goals. As this incredible achievement begins to be recognized and applauded, it's time for regulators to focus on the policies and standards that will help us bring these technologies to the market. Finally, thank you all for being here today. I hope you're as inspired as I am. And here's to living on a cooler planet. And I just want to say, have a great day or great night, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us, and best to you all. Cheers.
Good day, everyone. My name is Patrick Blake.
My name is Andreas Kuhlmann.
My name is Ravi Chandran Purushottaman.
My name is Chris Kamatz.
Good afternoon. I'm Birger Brende.
My name is Rasha Hasnain.
My name is Crystal Chisel.
My name is Durwood Zelke.
My name is Christine Egan.
Hello, my name's Tony Bliss.
My name is Carol Dahl.
My name is Garrett Jacobs.
My name is Brian Dean.
Humanity is now embarking upon a critical journey.
They say that all roads lead to Rome. But in this case, Rome is quite distant, and it is imperative that we make informed choices about which roads will actually get us there in time.
When it comes to climate change, cooling is the #1 issue. And it has been neglected for quite a while. And I think this Global Cooling Prize initiative really made a difference.
And we share a concern that air conditioning and the skyrocketing demand in a warming world presents a great risk to climate stability.
This will make it impossible for us to realize one of the main goals of the Paris Agreement, which is to limit global warming by 2 degrees of pre-industrial levels.
No, we really must walk the talk.
Making a positive impact on a world that needs smart, sustainable cooling more than ever.
As demand for cooling grows around the world, meeting people's needs with the most energy efficient and climate friendly solutions is key to meeting the global goals on sustainable energy and climate change.
We chose to join the Prize Coalition because it promises to deliver critically needed inventions in planet-friendly cooling for all.
Because we're committed to creating solutions that matter for people and our planet.
We chose to join the Prize Coalition because we believe that imagination is the only limit, and that the goal is to make toast, not be toast.
Because addressing refrigerant gases and the world's growing need for cooling is key to helping the world reach drawdown.
Because climate-friendly and sustainable cooling is essential in a rapidly warming world.
On behalf of UNEP's United for Efficiency initiative.
On behalf of the Lemelson Foundation.
On behalf of Carrier.
On behalf of the World Economic Forum.
On behalf of Borregas Partners and Workforce Equity.
On behalf of Project Drawdown.
On behalf of CLASP.
I'd like to congratulate all the finalists of the Global Cooling Prize.
I would like to congratulate all of the finalists of the prize.
I'd like to congratulate all the finalists of the prize.
I would like to congratulate warmly all the finalists of the prize.
I'd like to congratulate all of the prize finalists for demystifying the myth of innovation and possibility with math and motivation.
I would like to congratulate all the finalists of the prize.
I would like to congratulate all the finalists of the prize.
Thank you for your commitment to the change the world needs, and for squaring up all the challenges that this sector must tackle.
For your innovative solutions and perseverance in developing path-breaking prototypes with the added challenge of a global pandemic.
We are encouraged and inspired by your successes and call upon manufacturers, policymakers, financiers, market influencers, and consumers to follow suit and support.
As we recover better from COVID-19, we have seen the critical need for cooling technologies that keep vaccines safe, support the health and well-being of the most vulnerable, and promote prosperity.
On behalf of AIR, I'd like to congratulate the winner of the Global Cooling Prize. Congratulations.
Congrats to all the winning teams.
Valtukkal, Badaya.
Congratulations.
Warm congratulations.
Congratulations to the winning team.
Congratulations to the winning teams.
Congratulations to both the winning teams. We're standing on the cusp of what could be a very real, very impactful transformation in the cooling industry. And your respective innovations and breakthroughs are serving as the spark for that revolution.
And if you're interested in learning more about the prize, from its ideation to launch to selection of the finalists, the rigorous testing process, and the performance of winning teams' prototypes against the prize criteria, we have just launched a new report that shares these insights. You can access the report through this QR code or on the Global Cooling Prize website. But of course, making cooling more sustainable is only a small part of a much larger set of actions that all major industries need to commit to if we're going to get through to the other side and meet the targets as defined by the Paris Climate Agreement. And the Global Cooling Prize is indeed a component of a much larger action plan designed to ensure that we act quickly and intelligently in this decisive decade for climate action.
To give you more information about this, joining us today is Mr. Nigel Topping, the UK's high-level climate action champion appointed by the UK Prime Minister in January 2020. Mr. Topping's role is to strengthen collaboration and drive action from businesses, investors, organizations, cities, and regions on climate change, and to coordinate this work with the governments and parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Mr. Topping was most recently CEO of We Mean Business, a coalition of businesses working to accelerate the transition to a zero carbon economy. And prior to that, he was executive director of the Carbon Disclosure Project. We are pleased to have Mr. Topping joining us today from his home in England to talk about the UNFCCC's Race to Zero campaign.
Hello, my name is Nigel Topping and I'm the high-level climate action champion for COP26, and I'm delighted to be joining you all from Devon in England for the Global Cooling Prize virtual Grand Award ceremony. Now, the Race to Zero is now well underway with over 2,000 companies already in, including a third of the FTSE 100 and over 15% of the global economy. But the Race to Zero needs breakthroughs to accelerate the pace of the race and to the speed and scale required. And as we know, cooling accounts for approximately 7% of global greenhouse gas emissions. So we won't get to net zero emissions without climate-friendly cooling, especially residential air conditioning. That, of course, will require action on both energy use and reducing superpolluting F gases. Climate-friendly cooling solutions will also help us to adapt to the climate impacts as people beat the heat, which increasingly impacts every corner of the globe. So I'm delighted, therefore, that RMI decided to take on the challenge of accelerating progress on climate-friendly cooling with the Global Cooling Prize. And the success of the prize will make a critical contribution on the pathway to net zero cooling. But of course, it's the businesses that entered the prize that are the ones who we're really looking to. So I'm delighted today to congratulate the winning teams. That's Team Daikin, consisting of Daikin Air Conditioning India, Daikin Industries and Nikken Sekkei, and Team GRI, that's GRI Electric Appliances of Zhuhai and Tsinghua University. And I also very much welcome the commitment GRI has made to help deliver the Race to Zero cooling breakthrough to bring 5 times more climate-friendly, affordable residential air conditioning units to the market by 2025. And that's what really matters, getting these products into the market at a cost that is competitive. Now, this is a celebration of leaders, but it's not a victory lap. So I strongly encourage all businesses to join the Race to Zero to help us to deliver the breakthroughs we need to build a healthy, resilient, zero carbon world. For that, customers will need affordable, climate-friendly solutions, and the cooling industry has started leading the way, but more businesses need to follow the leads of the likes of GRI and Daikin. If they do, then such leadership will further enable governments to increase their ambition in the regulatory frameworks that inform consumers and help breakthrough technologies to reach the market, activating the all-important ambition loop that will help us succeed. I very much look forward to hearing about progress and additional supporting commitments in the run-up to COP26. The Race to Zero is on.
Thank you, Mr. Topping, for highlighting the importance of the cooling sector to achieve net zero emissions. Building upon the Global Cooling Prize's work to identify a breakthrough technology, we are thrilled that the Race to Zero will serve as a catalyst to commercialize and scale technologies with 5 times lower climate impact. Building on this and feeding into the aforementioned ambition loop, I am pleased to introduce the next segment of today's award ceremony, the Race to Zero Breakthrough for Cooling Commitment Session.
大家好，我是格力电器董事长兼总裁董明珠。我在中国珠海遥祝全球智能技术创新大赛成功举办。格力电器是一家生产家用电器消费品和工业装备的综合性企业。格力电器长期以来坚持以创新推动，围绕让人类生活更美好进行技术研发。在今年参加的全球智能技术创新大赛上，我们推出的是格力电器研发的零碳源空调技术。这项技术可以实现让现有空调对气候的碳排放影响降低80%。格力为实现联合国奔向零碳突破行动，格力电器承诺在2025年之前将该项技术产品推向市场。
海尔空调坚持以科技创新为引领，推动行业绿色健康发展，并荣获了联合国开发计划署颁布的为保护摄像头做出宝贵贡献和努力的荣誉证书，也斩获了多项国家级的科技奖项。我们很高兴地宣布对加入零排放竞赛的承诺，到2025年。
The Race to Zero campaign is a shining example of the commitments being made by businesses, governments, and institutions to secure a sustainable and just future for all. Because the goals that must be met can only be achieved by collective action. And that's why the Indian government's role in the nurturing of the Global Cooling Prize and its commitment to clean energy and efficient technologies cannot be appreciated enough. Today, we have with us the representatives of 2 government entities that were expressly created to help negotiate the terrain where market imperatives, technological innovation, and sustainable consumption and emission patterns come together. Please welcome from the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, Mr. Abhay Bakre, and from Energy Efficiency Services Limited, Mr. Saurabh Kumar.
Good evening to all. I am Abhay Bakre, Director General, Bureau of Energy Efficiency, which is a central nodal body in the field of energy efficiency on behalf of Government of India. Bureau has been implementing star rating program for appliances, and air conditioners are one of the key appliances which is making a success story in this program. Rocky Mountain Institute's along with all other departments of Government of India like DST, Ministry of Power, Ministry of Environment, have conceptualized this global cooling prize, and I'm really happy that today we are awarding the key winners. On behalf of Bureau, we congratulate all the winners, and we are promoting the star labeling for air conditioners, and we believe that these winners will come out with much better products in the future, which will benefit not only for the country, but also other countries and the citizens in the world. Thank you once again for organizing this Global Cooling Prize, and Bureau is committed to support such initiatives in future also. Thank you once again.
Good evening. I'm delighted to be part of this grand virtual ceremony for the Global Cooling Prize, something that we have been watching very closely with a lot of interest here in EESL. I would like to compliment RMI and all other partners for this very exciting, innovative global challenge that they put out. I'm joining this virtual ceremony from Delhi. I work in EESL, which is a super ESCO set up by the Government of India about 11 years ago with the aim of scaling up energy efficiency in the country. And I'm delighted to mention that cooling is something which is very high on the agenda of EESL. We initiated in 2019 a super efficient air conditioners program where we were able to bring in a super efficient air conditioner, which was almost 30 to 40% more efficient than the best in class that is available in the market. And as I said previously, we have been very eagerly watching the outcome of the Global Cooling Challenge. And I'm delighted to see that we do have two winners, and we have two very good winners who have provided breakthrough technology with their air conditioning technology using low GWP refrigerants, and most importantly, almost 70 to 75% more efficient than what you get in the Indian market. And India will need very high levels of efficiency in cooling, given that cooling will be one of the major drivers of demand for energy. We very strongly encourage both the winners and other finalists to commercialize their products as quickly as possible. We'll be very happy to provide any initial demand that they would like to see. Once again, I would like to compliment both the winners. I would like to also compliment RMI for this very innovative grand global challenge that they have put out. And I would like to stay connected with not just RMI, with the winners and the finalists, to see how we can together help in reducing the cooling demand in this country. Thank you very much for inviting me. It has been a pleasure being with you in this journey. Thank you very much.
Hello again. Unfortunately, we're now reaching the end of the Global Cooling Prize Grand Award ceremony. But we have much to celebrate, not only the work of the winning teams, but also the finalists and all who joined us on this journey, including those of you that just tuned in today who are hopeful for a cooler and more secure future. As mentioned earlier, this prize is more than a reward for the best minds in the cooling industry. It's a step towards something bigger. It's a commitment to doing things better for the sake of the planet. And it's worth remembering, as we let the importance of that sink in, that this is a beginning. We must now all build on it going forward. Fortunately, there are some among us today who know exactly how to do that and do that at scale. So let me once again call upon Tom Steyer to focus our lens on the road ahead as we bring today's event to a close.
As previously noted, when the prize launched in 2018, many people, including cooling experts, believed that the 5 times climate impact criteria, as well as the prize's supplementary criteria, were far too ambitious. But here we are, both Team Daikin with partner Nikken Seikei and Team Gree with partner Tsinghua University, have not only proven that a 5 times technology is possible, but shown that the technology is here today. These technology breakthroughs, coupled with the ambitious commitments made in the race to zero, exemplify the incredible progress that can be made when innovators are mobilized, the right incentives for change are identified, and cross-sectoral stakeholders work together. But the road to providing access to sustainable cooling for all without warming the planet doesn't end here. To the policymakers tuning in today, I call upon you and your colleagues to take up the challenge of developing much more aggressive efficiency standards and product rating systems so that consumers can truly assess the value of these new technologies. Now that the Global Cooling Prize and its winners have proven what is technically possible, minimum energy performance standards need to be set with relation to the technology's ceiling as opposed to the current floor. And to the financiers, investors, and market makers watching today, please continue to support companies, large and small, that are focusing on the development of distributive cooling technologies that will not only transform the residential cooling market, but adjacent sectors as well. And to every viewer that currently has an AC unit installed in your home, continue to use your spending dollars as a powerful market tool, signaling that super efficient cooling and climate-friendly cooling technologies are not only necessary, but are desired by consumers. Lastly, to the prize winners, finalists, and coalition partners, thank you and congratulations. It's thanks to your commitment to solving the cooling dilemma that we have successfully concluded the Global Cooling Prize and transformed the residential cooling industry for the better. To all that tuned in today for this exciting and special event, thank you. Good morning, good day, or good evening, wherever you're tuning in from today.
That brings us to the end of the show. But what would an award show be without a little music? To close the night, we have joining us for a special performance an award-winning musician, a record producer, singer, songwriter, and composer who has merged the traditional beats of the East with the progressive sounds of the West for almost 3 decades. A pioneer of the Asian underground genre, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Karsh Kale.